Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the concept of doing training maxes before rep work, why this is effective, and what we mean by a training max. Because this is something that does seem lost on a lot of people, but it's well supported both in the strength community among elite lifters, as well as supported in the scientific literature, even when it comes to your hypertrophy training. So the thing that we need to think about first of all is when we say a training max, what a training max is a non-max lift. It is a single rep that we are not taking to a true max. In other words, and for it to be a training max, it needs to be heavy enough to recruit all of the available motor units. In other words, every single muscle fiber in the primary movers that would be used on a max or a set taken to right at failure needs to be hit, okay? So how do we kind of figure out where that is? Well, if you're a less advanced lifter, anything over 90%, okay? Anything over 90%. And if you don't know if you're an advanced lifter, then you're not an advanced lifter, okay? In other words, if your max deadlift is 425, you're not an advanced lifter, unless you're a woman, okay? Let's be realistic. And there are charts to determine this stuff. So for non-advanced lifters, anything over 90. For a really advanced lifter, we can make the case for anything over 85%. And as you start to approach 90%, absolutely there. So what does that mean? That means that, let's say your max on a lift is 500 pounds or 500 units. It could be kilos, stones, whatever. I don't care. All right. What's 90% of that? 450. So anything 450 plus, you're definitely there for a more novice or intermediate lifter, okay? And if you are an advanced lifter, anything over about 425, okay? Does that make sense? So that's about where we are. And what we mean is that of percentage of your true max, like literally 100% of what you have. So if a 500 is your all out, everything you have, takes you 3.5 seconds to lock it, okay? That's a true max. So on a training max, here's what we're looking at. If it takes you more than 2 seconds to complete the concentric rep, it's probably too heavy, okay? Now, what do we get from this from a strength perspective? Well, we get all the benefits of a max. And in other words, unless we are training specifically to strain, and I think that's what people need to remember with true max effort. Max effort training is about straining under a heavy single, okay? Anything that makes you strain. We're just below that. It shouldn't be a true strain. It should be heavy. It should activate everything. But what we are trying to do is keep the form perfect. So the whole idea with a training max is that it doesn't beat your recovery up. It is way easier on your recovery. And keep in mind, a true 1 rep max is still easier to recover from than a 3 or a 5 rep max. All right, everyone follow so far. This will carry over to competition. I have demonstrated it myself. Obviously, tons of coaches out there have demonstrated this for decades. So again, I don't want anyone to think that this is Blaha saying he's reinvented the wheel or discovered something that 500 amazing coaches haven't already done. Okay, we stand on the shoulders of giants. But I've done it in my training, and you guys have watched me do that. And the perfect example I love to use is when I did the charity event, 625. All right, deadlift. I never pulled over 570 before that event for months and months and months and months. Had I done 625 previously, like 9 or 10 months before? Yes. But not in the 6 months. And I walked in and just pulled it. Right, I went to 585, which looks like a warm up, and then 625, and then failed 635. All right, so that's what I did. I've had lifters who, my lifter Perry, when I had him, I coached him for quite a long time. We never hit over a 610 or a 615 squat. They all looked pretty. They were solid training maxes. He walked in, again, he kind of did his own prep, so I don't get to take credit, but he needed to quit coaching. He walked in and hit a 680 squat, completely raw. He wasn't hitting that and previous to that, and it wasn't necessary because training maxes carry over. Okay? And people need to grasp that unless you were literally trying to set a PR because you need it for your ego or for the camera, or you're going and doing a competition, going above that training max probably isn't making you stronger. It is going to beat your recovery up. It is going to take possibly injury risks up, but that's it. So what's the whole point with doing it before our hypertrophy work? It, according to the research that's out there, seems to make us slightly stronger on our volume work. Okay, and again, what we need to be clear of is a training max, not a true max, because some guys are like, I don't know, I hit a max and I was slightly weaker than if I came in and did a normal hypertrophy day. Well, it's because you hit a max. You didn't do 90%. So let's come in and think about that. So if your max is 100 kilograms, right? I don't care what the lift is. It could be your curl. Nobody curls that. But, 100 kilograms. And you come in and you do 90 for a clean, perfect, explosive rep. All right? Yes, that will carry over to your strength gains. But what does it do for your volume work? According to the research, most lifters can lift slightly more on a 10 rep set after doing that. Okay? In other words, a weight that normally 10 would be a struggle for you, you might get 11 or 12 after doing that. It seems to increase your ability to recruit muscle fibers. It seems to increase performance on subsequent sets that are done shortly after. So if our goal is to, let's use this term power building everyone likes to throw out. Wouldn't that really be what power building is? To where we use the heavy work to train our neural drive, to train our technique to get stronger, but then it facilitates a better workout following it. Okay? Now, is that to say that someone who's doing really high volumes, is that going to necessarily be beneficial? I don't think that it will. Okay? And I might do that myself, and I do that myself oftentimes. But if a person wanted to do more moderate volume training, I think that's where they'll get the hypertrophy benefit. Okay? Really high volumes of training, we are hitting everything over and over and over anyways. We are getting optimal stimulus. Okay? We're not worried about set per set stimulus. But what if a person is going to come in and they're like, dude, I got 40 minutes to train. And they're like, I want to basically do 3 sets of bench, some pull-ups and some incline, and get out of there, some triceps and leave. Okay? How might they train if they wanted the most efficiency? Well, I might have them ramp up to a 90% of their max on a bench, immediately do 3x10 bench, superset pull-ups behind it for 3 sets, do 3 sets of incline for 10, pull-up superset between, maybe 3 sets of triceps, and leave. They're done. All right, that workout could be done inside of 30 minutes. All the supersets, and you're making it more efficient because you're hitting that heavy single, you're immediately stripping the weight down to your 10 rep sets. Maybe waiting a minute and then going. And if you do that, that is going to be absurdly efficient, and you will get better performance on those small number of 10 rep sets, therefore more potential for hypertrophy. All right, that would be a fantastic way to train. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.